Top Gun Maverick is a 2022 American action drama film directed by Joseph Kosinski and written by Ehren Kruger, Eric Warwick Singer, and Christopher McQuarrie, from the story by Peter Craig and Justin Marks. It is the sequel to Top Gun, made in 1986, and the film stars Tom Cruise as Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell, reprising his role from the original alongside Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly, Jon Hamm, Glen Powell, Pullman, Ed Harris, and Val Kilmer. Set 36 years after its predecessor, it follows Maverick's reluctant return to the United States Navy Strike Fighter Tactics Instructor program, where he must confront his past as he trains a group of younger aviators, among them the son of Maverick's deceased best friend, Goose. Development on Top Gun's sequel was announced in 2010 by Paramount Pictures. Cruise and Kilmer were approached to return in their roles from the original, as was producer Jerry Bruckheimer and director Tony Scott. By mid-2012, a draft of the screenplay was finished. However, on August 19th that year, Scott died by suicide, and the film's pre-production was put on hold. The film is dedicated to Tony Scott's memory. In June 2017, Kosinski was hired and wrote a new draft of the script. Principal photography took place from May 2018 to April 2019 in California, Washington, D.C., and Maryland. The film was shot by using IMAX-certified 6K full-frame cameras. Its release was initially scheduled for July 12, 2019, but was delayed first by efforts to shoot several complex action sequences, and then by the COVID-19 pandemic affecting the film industry and scheduling conflicts. Top Gun Maverick premiered at the CinemaCon on April 28, 2022, and was theatrically released in the United States to IMAX 4DX, ScreenX, and Dolby Cinema on May 27, 2022 by Paramount Pictures. It was also released by Paramount Plus after its theatrical run. The film was released to widespread critical praise, with many reviewers deeming it superior to the predecessor. The film has so far grossed over $1 billion worldwide, and has also become the highest-grossing film of Cruise's career, even after adjusting inflation. Now, Cruise's involvement in Top Gun Maverick was first announced in January 2016. Val Kilmer had campaigned on his Facebook page to reprise the role in the film, and by June 2018 the rap reported that he would appear in the film. While Bruckheimer and the filmmakers wanted to bring back Kilmer, Cruise was the one who insisted in allowing Kilmer to reprise his role. A trailer released in March 2022 featured a photograph of Kilmer wearing a uniform and a 4-star admiral. In July 2018, Miles Teller was cast in the role of Goose's son against Nicholas Hoult and Glen Powell. All three were flown to Cruise's home for chemistry tests. Later that month, Jennifer Connelly joined the film's cast to play a single mother running a bar near a naval base. Kelly McGillis and Meg Ryan, who both appeared in the original film together, were not asked to appear in the sequel. To create the illusion that actors are actually piloting the jets during the flying scenes, the producers paid the Navy $11,000 per flight per hour for FA-18E F Super Hornets and pilots to fly them. At least one FA-18F was rigged with special cameras to film an actor in the back seat. Cruise designed a unique 3-month boot camp to train the actors with flying roles to get them used to the acrobatics and high G-forces, and to build up the spatial awareness that would be needed to operate the camera equipment. At the insistence of Tom Cruise, there are minimal green screen effects and CGI aerial shots in the film, and even the close-ups and the cockpit shots are taken during real in-flight sequences. This meant that much of the cast had to undergo extensive G-force training sessions to withstand the physical demands of G-force pressures during flights. Kosinski explained that the team spent more than a year with the Navy forces to use IMAX cameras inside the cockpits, with 4 cameras facing towards the actors and 2 facing forward. In addition to cameras mounted all over exteriors of the aircraft, he explained the audiences should feel the authenticity, strain, speed, and gravitational forces as something that cannot be achieved through soundstage or visual effects, which needed a tremendous amount of work and effort. He added that more than 800 hours of footage had been shot for the film, exceeding the combined footage shot for the films in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, CGI was extensive in the film when it came to shooting the F-14 and Su-57, visualized entirely by computer. They also stated that the F-18 scenes were shot most of using a single jet, which were put through the CGI to create a dogfight training sequences. Now, I haven't always been the biggest fan of Tom Cruise for quite a while, probably since he ruined Mission Impossible 1, which I loved, with the horrible MI2. For me, Tom has become an extension of his own personality and loves to show off his big ego on screen. In saying that, though, he has turned out some superb acting performances, and he has carved out a niche for himself as the action hero who pushes the limits, and one thing you can appreciate about him is that he does a lot of the stunts himself and will push the absolute limits of filmmaking. Now, this movie is really all about Tom Cruise, so if you're not an overall big fan of his, you might find this hard to watch. In saying that, though, the technology and the machines are absolutely wonderful, and I kept thinking of the real men and women who actually fly these fantastic jets and how incredible and brave they really are in real life. I mean, there are some sequences in the film that are absolutely wow, and the experiences of speed and the amount of G-force that these people go through is absolutely surreal when you really think of it. And in watching the film, you really get the sensation of speed and the thrill of flight, as well as being part of a 4G inverted dive. And that's wherein lies the magic of this film, is experiencing that thrill of adrenaline. I mean, to think that the original was made in 1986 with its real 80s style, and this for me is a pure nostalgia ride for Tom, just done with better technology. The story is thin and predictable, with a few callbacks to the 86 original, and it will help a lot if you have seen the first movie in the series. In saying that though, you could watch this on its own as well, as they throw a few flashbacks in every now and again just to keep you up to date. There are plenty of scenes though that are just plain corny, patronising, and frankly just downright patriotic. There are golden sunsets, perfectly crisp white t-shirts, exquisitely coiffed hair, and long-held flames of romance that made me wince and roll my eyes, frankly. And yes, I know the football scene on the beach was a throwback to the beach volleyball scene in the original movie, but my goodness, it is really overdone. In saying that though, seeing one of my personal favourite actors appear in a small but touching scene, of course I'm referring to Val Kilmer, was a nice touch, and his addition is clever in playing to his most awful throat cancer that he's gone through and his lack of ability to talk. Because of this, his voice is recreated through AI technology using archival audio of his voice, just so as Val can speak at least 2 lines in the film. You can see though there's a genuine fondness between Tom and Val, and it shines through on screen and adds to one of the most touching moments in the whole film. The addition now of Jennifer Connelly filling the new role of the love interest for Tom is completely a waste of time and just wasn't needed in the whole story, and frankly it's a waste of a fine actress. I generally enjoy Miles Teller as an actor, but this is more about his perfect tan and moustache and about his angst-riddled relationship with Maverick. And what more can I say about the character of Hangman, played here by Glen Powell? He really is completely irritating in this role, although he's meant to be, but he just takes it to a new level. Jon Hamm does what he needs to do as the atypical boss-type-like character who has to hold the hero back. Of course, there are so many other things that are implausible, and frankly, these missions, if they happen in real life, well, the USA would be at war with that country right now. Also, Maverick disregarding so many commands would have led to him being dishonorably discharged, court-martialed, and frankly in jail. But hey, this is Hollywood. I also found the ending a little bit over top for my liking, and frankly just implausible. I also had a chuckle to myself, as the enemies in this film are portrayed as nameless. The country is actually never mentioned, which one they are attacking. I even had to remind myself, did I miss the name of the country they're supposed to be going to? Also, the planes are unmarked, and the pilots' faces are fully covered by their visors. A real flashback to old Hollywood style of portraying the bad guy. Obviously, Hollywood and Tom wanted to play it safe and not piss off any foreigners in this film. In saying all of that though, this movie does move quickly, and it really does take you on a joyride, and it really is fundamentally all about the jets. I mean, I loved seeing an F-14 again, as well as seeing the F-18 Super Hornet. They're just plain beautiful, not to mention the opening sequence, which is just damn cool. One thing I have to add about Tom Cruise though, is he appears before the film to thank you personally for buying a ticket to watch this movie and how much work was put into it. It felt somewhat unnerving, and I felt like it was a recruitment drive of sorts. Just strange. Anyway, in saying all of that, this is a movie where you need to switch your mind off, enjoy the need for speed and the excitement of flight, and be taken on a journey with the thrill ride as you see these magnificent machines at full flight. Top Gun Maverick gets a 7 out of 10.